Hi everybody, it's Stacy Duffy here, your Denver Metro real estate resource, and it's late. It is 10:20 on a Friday night, and my lighting is terrible, and I am tired. But I just got done setting my 9 showing appointments for tomorrow, and I want to talk easements. Yay! If you're here, it's probably because you've already had an issue, you currently have an issue, or you are just psychotically over-research type person like I am, and you want to know what can go wrong or what to watch out for when you're buying a place. So we're going to have a story time. This ran into one of my clients today. I'll save this and post it later. I blacked out some information so it's not so obvious and can protect their privacy and things like that. But I have a buyer that is under contract on a property. I was going through their title commitment because, well, for a lot of different reasons. I'll link to videos on title up above and down below, what the title company does, what title insurance is, and anything else that I probably post in between now and then or whatever I can remember to come back and link. But going through title commitments. So here in the state of Colorado, surveys are not customary for properties unless you're buying acreage, farms, ranches, something like that. If you're buying a lot and block property, so your typical suburban, single family home in a residential neighborhood, or even townhomes, sometimes a lot and block properties here, typically you don't get a survey. I know that is not always the case for other states. Other states, it's very customary that you get a survey. The title company will require that you get one so they know what they're insuring. Here, the title companies are like, nah, we're good. We got a plat map. And we'll insure over the plat map minus these exceptions as long as these requirements are met. As I mentioned, one day I'll go through a title commitment. This one wasn't too bad. This might be a good example. But I'll do it another day because that's a whole nother form of torture that I enjoy and get geeked on. And I want people to understand what they're buying. So I'm going to go through those with my clients. And a lot of them are like, why, what? And I'm like, okay. Do you need to know everything? Probably not. Do you need to understand situations like this? Yes. So as I'm going through that title commitment with my clients today, I said, okay, so let's pull up your plat map because the title commitments say, hey, we're going to insure your box or your lot on this block, on this filing or whatever your legal description is. We're going to insure your little piece of spot there, your little land. So if someone puts a fence over your property line, if someone builds something they're not supposed to, if, whatever. That's your little section of the earth that we're going to insure over, right? So I'm like, okay, well, let's look at this. So they're usually going to give a plat map, the filing number. I'll always check that. Larger neighborhoods are going to have different filings. I catch those as being wrong all the time on the title commitment. Not all the time. 10% of the time. On the title commitments, 5%. And then I'm going to say, okay, we want to look for the street that our house is on. We want to look for block number X, lot number Y. Okay, is that physically where the house is? Our house is the 1, 2, 3, third from the corner. Is that where it is on the map related to those two streets? Everything lines up. Cool, right? Most of the time that's the case. Occasionally they don't line up. I want to make sure that whatever the title company is insuring is actually what you're trying to buy. So, and most, as I mentioned, 98% of agents aren't going to do this. I'm crazy. But this is why my clients love me. So I just want to fill you in on the crazy and things for you to be aware of in case your agent is not like me. So my people are buying this nice place here, okay? There's a lot of dotted lines here. So those dotted lines are typically easements. There's a nice trail that runs behind their house, but when I look on county records, there's no parcel. There's no section of land that somebody else owns where that trail is. Somebody owns the house behind them. They own this house. There's a property line. So I'm like, okay, so that trail's going to be an easement and you're actually going to own it or pay for it. So in that acre of land that you're buying, a good chunk of it is this trail behind your fence you're not going to get. So as long as you understand what you're buying, it's your choice, right? All about educating people to make an informed decision. So just not to torture y'all, and I already shot this once, but it was 25 minutes, so I'm trying again. So forgive my lines. Maybe I'll use a different color pen this time. So I zoomed in so y'all can see this. So this nice big triangle on the end of the cul-de-sac is the wonderful, wonderful piece of property that my people are buying, okay? So, and I drew roughly where the house is. On a detailed survey, it's going to have all of this stuff, as well as where's the house, where's the driveway, where's the back patio, where's the deck, where's the shed, where's the hot tub, whatever, right? Surveys are not cheap here in Colorado. I paid for one on my house. It's great information, but they're not cheap. And most people don't have them. So, for this particular one, I said, whoa, we got a lot of dotted lines here, guys. You're talking like a good chunk of your property is an easement zone. So what's the easement for? What's the chances someone's going to dig it up? Because what easements typically are right for someone else to access your property. So any easements on record will usually have a recorded document number, and that's going to be listed on the exceptions in the title commitment. In other words, don't call the title company when the cable guy is walking through your backyard to put the cable box back there because he has an easement. He has the right to do so. Don't call us and tell him to get him off your property. Okay? That's what those exceptions mean, is essentially, hey, we're going to insure your property, but except for these things. And if somebody has to get back there and do work and they have the right to do so, that's what it's for. So here, and I know actually based on this property, I'm like, your fence does not go all the way back here. This is that nice little trail. You own that trail, by the way. You pay for that land. You just give everybody around you the right to use it as an easement, because it's actually a 30-foot equestrian trail. Okay, and this is probably going to be backwards on the video. I'm not good at flipping these whole things around, so you probably can't read it. But anyway, so this is a 30-foot equestrian trail easement right here. So I'm like, okay, your fence line is actually on the inside of that trail. So you actually own all of that. But right now there's an equestrian easement. There's all these other easements, right? And those should all be listed on our exception list. So let's go make sure they're there. Cool. Now you've got that section plus another 10 feet into your fence, past on into your yard side of your fence for a utility easement. So IREA is a local utility here, electric utility. So it's like, okay, well, they might have to get back there and work. So you probably don't want to put something on the back, right along your fence line. If they got to dig up a line or something to get back there, there's also power lines up there. If they have to service those areas that they might tear up, because you might be really upset about it. And they are not there. They don't have to foot the bill to fix it. They have an easement for the property, which means they have the right to access that to fix whatever they have there. And that's all detailed in their record numbers. Okay. All their document numbers. So, and then there's another little section here that I'm like, man, more? Cutting in more? Okay, well, let's go down here. So down on this section, okay, there's a 50-foot petroleum easement. Okay, so apparently there's a buried petroleum pipeline down there. And that cuts into your property more. So if they have to dig that up, they're just digging even more into the yard and tearing it up. Okay, we probably got sprinkler lines in there, maybe have some raised garden beds, maybe a little stone path. Maybe one of the previous owners put up a nice little gazebo or a shed, or if this wasn't an HOA property, a shop in the back. Things start to get really messy. And then we got this whole big chunk right here that goes all the way up and down the length of the property. Okay, and I'm like, guys, that's another 25 feet. We're talking from your fence line in, you're talking 45 feet. That's a good chunk for a suburban home. Like, a lot of homes here don't even have a yard that deep. So, but I'm like, there's nothing on here that states what that easement's for. So, I don't see anything on our title exception list talking about that particular easement. So let's go to our bigger map that we took this little section from, right? So let's follow it, because everybody has these same easements all the way down. Oh, wait. Down here, it mentions what that easement is. And I know it's probably too small for you all to read, but it says 25-foot construction and maintenance easement with a recorded document number. Construction and maintenance is pretty generic. I'm like, what's that for? Well, let me look at that recorded document number. Let me look at our title exception list. That's not on there. So what's this easement for? So I go back to my buyers. I'm like, hey guys, somebody can do a lot of digging in your backyard. The chunk of them are either going to be for the petroleum pipeline, the electric utility, or the trail that you're already giving everybody access to on the backside of your fence that you actually own and pay for. So whatever. Okay. So yeah, but what's this other one? So I asked my clients, because it's not my job to make any decisions. It's certainly not my job to do anything that can be to their detriment. There's pros and cons to every decision, right? And even every question that we ask. So I'm like, hey guys, I can go back to the title company and say, there's a documented easement on the plat map, and the recorded document number for that easement is not on our exception list. Can we have a copy of that document? So pro is title company will say, oh, you're right, let me go get that for you, because that's part of the commitment. That's technically part of something we should insure, or actually something we should have on the exceptions list. I'm like, they might add it to your exception list and not insure over it now. However, The plat map is already on your exception list. So if you filed a claim for something and they actually dug into it, they might say, well, that document wasn't on the exception list, but the plat map was, and the plat map shows the easement, so we're still not going to pay for it. So I'm like, you're not really going to be out anything. You just might have gotten to be able to slide something by them if it hit the fan and if all the stars aligned and whatever else. So they're like, we get it. We'd rather know what it is, even if they add it. We just want to know. It's like, cool. I'm happy to ask the question. So I asked the question. Of course, the title company's like, well, we don't see that document on your exception list. Why are you asking? Duh, I'm asking because it's not on the exception list and it's on the plat map and I want to know what the hell it's for. And they're like, oh, okay, we got it. Because I will tell you, this many, maybe like this many agents actually dig into stuff and ask for things from the title company or read those title commitments because they don't understand them. Or they don't dig into them or they don't take the time, right? Most people just think like, oh, it happens all the time. It's not a big deal. Well, things like this, does it turn out to be a big deal? Maybe not. Could it be? Yeah. If this didn't have an HOA and my people were planning on putting a really big shop back here and spending $150,000 on it, and that's why they bought the property, because I've sold a property before and that was what they were planning on doing, then yes, that would significantly change their purchase decision because now they can't do what they wanted to do. So we go to the title company. Title company says, yeah, we'll work on that. Well, it's our title objection deadline. So my people are going to be out $30,000 in earnest money. If this changes their purchase decision and we don't object to title today. It's Friday afternoon. So I'm like, hey guys, we should object to title, protect your earnest money. They can get us the doc later. If it's something you still want to purchase the property, no problem. We withdraw the objection. We move forward. Everything keeps going. But if this is something that's going to change your purchase decision and we wait until Monday to hear back from the title company and now we want to terminate for that reason and we didn't object by our deadline, then you can kiss your earnest money goodbye unless the seller wants to play nice, and they don't have to. So that's my job. Those little things that people are like, oh, realtors get overpaid, blah, blah, blah. This is the stuff that matters in educating people on what they're buying and what the risk is and what they could lose and what they could gain and understanding those things. So what we ended up doing is doing the title objection. And of course, the listing agent calls and he's like, hey, what's going on? I was like, I don't think it'll be a problem. We're just protecting the earnest money. There's an easement that we didn't have the record document for, just waiting to get that from title. No, I think we'll be okay. We got a few days to work through it without really causing any other problems. Let's just make sure everything's good. This is okay. So later in the day, we did end up getting that document. We did find out that construction and maintenance easement is an additional 25-foot construction and maintenance easement in relation to the 50-foot pipeline easement. So it's pretty much like, okay, well, the pipeline has an easement, and then a couple years later, they were like, we're going to need more space if we actually have to dig things up. We want an extra 25 feet before anybody builds over there. Okay, great. So that's what it's for. And then my people, I can let them know, and they assess the risk and say, okay, we're not terribly worried about it. We're not planning on putting anything back there. We'll deal with it if the time comes. We don't even know if we'll own the property that long. So we'll roll with it. Cool. We'll withdraw that objection, keep going. But it's one of those things that it's like, these are the things that create horror stories that people don't understand because something happens 5, 10, 15 years down the road and then it's, oh, well, nobody told me this. Guys, it's all there and no one reads it and no one takes the time to ask questions and everyone just assumes that somebody else will take care of it. Okay? It is not my job to read the title commitment for you. It is your title commitment, it is your title insurance, it is your property. I do it because my job in my mind is to advocate and educate my clients. And that is how, part of the reason that they hire me is because I'm so detailed, I'm so thorough on things. They don't feel like they're going to get screwed. Because they don't know what to look for. You don't know what you don't know. And going through those things is really hard to do. Going through 500 pages of HOA documents. I mean, all those things. So I tell my clients, I don't read all the HOA docs, guys. I'm not going to be the one living there. I'm not going to be the one following those rules. If you have a question or you have a concern in particular of, hey, I'm buying a condo. Do I have to pay for the windows or does the HOA? Let's look through them together, okay? Or let's find those sections or whatever. But these things can get really, really messy down the road. And some of these property, I mean, we're talking $1 million properties, guys. Like, there's a lot of money on the line here. So making sure you have an agent that can advocate for you, that understands these things, that will ask these questions, or if you have questions, ask your agent. If your agent doesn't know, say, should I ask the title company? Who at the title company can I talk to? Do I need to order a survey? I want to know what I need to know. And if someone's like, well, it'll be fine, don't worry about it, blah, blah, blah. It is not my job to pacify somebody. It is my job to give them enough education to make an informed decision. And sometimes that education is, guys, these things happen all the time. I would say the risk based on my experience is less than 5% of something occurring, or less than 1%, or hey, maybe we're up to 30%. But you're okay with that risk because it's a hell of a deal, or you need a place to live, or whatever. So my job is to give context and educate so you can make that informed decision. So anyway, still a long video, and I'll get off my soapbox, but I just wanted to show y'all a really good example of something that comes up that people would miss and not pay attention to, and that could cause some serious issues, especially if something happens down the road or maintenance needs to be done, or how you're going to use the property. It can change your purchase decision, and it can save you from being in a nightmare situation 5 years, 10 years down the road. So anyway, if you are moving to the Denver metro area and you want somebody this detailed, and like I said, it is now 10:35 on a Friday night, and this is what I'm doing, is I'm making a video about this because it's that important and I want people to know about it. This is my life. This is how my brain works. And I am very, very passionate about helping my clients with this. It is very important for them to know these things. So if you'd like to interview me to potentially hire me for moving here to Denver, selling your place, being this detailed on stuff, making sure there's party wall agreements for your garage before you go to sell your house so the buyer doesn't come back and sue you because it wasn't recorded on title or whatever. There's all kinds of stuff like this. This stuff comes up. If you want me to help you with those things, my contact information is down below. I do this for a living. I want people to feel educated and safe and comfortable in their decisions. And not always have this question mark or anxiety looming over their head. So feel free to reach out to me. I would be happy to help. I would love the opportunity for an interview. If you are, first of all, if you found this helpful, or I guess second of all, if you found it helpful, if you've been through the situation, if you're going through the situation, if you're worried about going through the situation, hit the like button. That will help other people find this video that might not find it otherwise. And also, if you need a great agent in another area, you're not buying or selling in the Denver metro or South Denver metro area, please reach out to me. I have a form down below that you can put details in there of specific qualities you're looking for. I have had many people ask if I can clone myself or if I want to get licensed in other states. I love my job. I'm good right here. I haven't figured out how to clone myself yet. I've had people ask. So I can't guarantee that I can find a me in another area, but I can find a very detailed, technical agent, people that explain things differently. It's all about finding a good fit for what you're looking for, okay? There are some people that I am not a good fit for, but for certain people, I'm exactly what they're looking for in an agent. So feel free to fill out the form down below, and I would love to make a match and make a few recommendations so you can interview some other agents in your area to see who's the best fit for you. So anyway, thanks so much for the time, and have a great day.